You traveled to Port-au-Prince just a few months after the earthquake happened, and I think you'd been, if I remember this correctly, on the morning show here in February. You were talking about getting wheelchairs together. I was just listening to the interview a little bit earlier today, but that was, I think you had not yet been to Port-au-Prince at that point. What was it like once you actually saw the destruction up close?
Well, that's the first thing was the fact that landscape that you're familiar with was simply inexistent. Haiti is not a developed country, so there are very few buildings, tall buildings. So the few that we have, like the National Palace, the cathedral and all of that, and the core downtown, when you just don't see any of that, you have a sense that you're in a lost land. So that's the first shock. In the cab going to my home, and that family home, I didn't know what to expect. Of course, people told me that it wasn't that damaged by the time I went there in person. But seeing it and because it's an old home that we have, and it's just amazing. And the fact that no one in that family home died, and they weren't together; they were all at different places, and they had all survived.
You were very critical in February 2010 of how that rebuilding effort was going on at the time. You expressed a concern back then about the way the money was flowing, what it was going towards. I want you just to play a little clip of what you said. This is 5 years ago on CBC.
You need to empower the poor people and let them create businesses so that they can create an economy for money to be circulating among Haitians. What we're doing right now is that governments are giving money to each other, foreign governments, and asking the Haitians to say thank you.
Would you still say that was the problem? Has that continued to be a problem in Haiti?
How I wish I was wrong. I mean, first of all, I think we need to put in context what happened in Haiti. The earthquake was only one of 3 disasters that hit Haiti. The first one was a coup d'etat that took place in 2004 when foreign countries decided to overthrow the legitimate government of Haiti and replace it by unelected officials, resulting in what many authors have called a foreign dictatorship, with the cover of the UN troops in there, and using Haitian chosen leaders who are appointed by Washington and what they call the core group. So that results in leadership, local authorities who are constantly considered as puppets and not legitimate. So when the earthquake happened, there was no leadership. And we heard a lot of people criticizing the so-called Haitian government at the time, but very few were referring to the fact that there is a reason why that government was so weak. There was a perception that they were not running the show, and they weren't. In fact, the United States on their own decided that they took over the airport, and you had all kinds of craziness happening at the time.
In the 5 years that the money continued to go from the international community, spending billions to rebuild the country, what did we see happen with the money?
Okay. So that's why I also said we have to make the difference between a press release and reality. You can issue a press release to announce that you've devoted billions of dollars, which is what was done less than a month after the earthquake. The United Nations announced $13 billion dedicated to the rebuilding of Haiti. But what they also announced is that there's something called the Interim Reconstruction Fund for Haiti that was to be led by former U.S. President Bill Clinton and co-led by the Prime Minister of Haiti at the time. But as the reality sets in, pretty much it became clear that Bill Clinton was the one person making all the decisions. And just to illustrate what happened on the ground, because I don't think it's very complicated. If you go to Haiti, you will see that there has not been $13 billion spent in Haiti or on Haitians. That's for sure. So we know who collected the money, but we don't know where they spent it on. And just to illustrate, After Haiti, outside of Haiti, the most significant commemoration that's happening today, as we speak, is in Manhattan at the office of Bill Clinton. That's because people don't know what he did with the money. And so people are quite frustrated with that.
But when you're saying you don't see where the money was spent on the ground, can you give some examples of what?
I'll give you an example, okay? So first of all, according to studies that were conducted, 1 cent out of every dollar was spent by a Haitian organization, including the Haitian government. So 99% of the money was managed through foreign governments, foreign NGOs, and companies. The companies that were implementing the projects are foreign companies. An example is